I value India actually a lot more. You know, we are a very relationship driven country. यहाँ पे भी hurt होता है.
Like, do you think कि अगर funding ले लेते तो number 1 पे हो जाते?
Throwing money at the problem never solves the problem. We have never seen a quarter of a loss, while our competitors have never seen a quarter of a profit. Make my trip, clear trip, यात्रा, Mexico, IB both. Nobody is loyal to anybody. अपना ढोल पीटने से कुछ नहीं होता है. That was the only time I would say that EaseMyTrip was brink of shutting down. तो हमने यार लोगों को 130 crores आउट ऑफ अवर कैश रिजर्व्स रिफंड दे दिया.
What?
पूरी इंडस्ट्री ने बोल रहा था कि भैया तुम तो गए, you're over. And as an entrepreneur, there is no surety on तुम्हारा घर भी चला जाएगा.
सबकी प्रॉब्लम है कि यार मैं बिजनेस बनाऊं कैसे, मेरे पास तो फंडिंग ही नहीं है, मेरे पास तो इतने पैसे ही नहीं है. दूसरे सारे मार्केट में जो प्लेयर्स है ना, उनके पास इतना पैसा है कि मैं कुछ भी बिजनेस बनाने चाहता हूँ, वो लोग मुझे क्रश कर देते हैं. मैं क्या करूँ? ये सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने आज के पॉडकास्ट में आंसर करें, क्योंकि आज का जो हमारा पॉडकास्ट गेस्ट है प्रशांत पित्ती, को फाउंडर ऑफ EaseMyTrip, उन्होंने कंपनी बनाई बूटस्ट्रैप. किसी वीसी से कभी भी कोई पैसा नहीं लिया और बूटस्ट्रैप 14 साल तक कंपनी प्रॉफिटेबल चलाने के बाद सीधे IPO कर लिया. एंड टुडे उस कंपनी का प्रॉफिट 100 करोड़ से भी ज़्यादा है. प्रॉफिट, नॉट रेवेन्यू. एंड वो इंडिया के सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट प्लेयर हैं नॉन फंडेड इन द ट्रैवल कैटेगरी. जब उन्होंने बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया तब 6-7 बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज थी, सबके पास बहुत फंड्स थे, बहुत PR था, बहुत मार्केटिंग थी, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी टीम्स थी. इनके पास क्या था? कुछ नहीं. बस 3 भाई थे, तीनों आपस में सोचा कि यार कुछ तो बड़ा करना है. सो दिस एपिसोड इज गोइंग टू बी सुपर प्रॉफिटेबल फॉर यू इफ यू वांट टू बिल्ड अ बिजनेस फ्रॉम योर हाउस एंड वांट टू टेक इट टू IPO एंड 100 करोड़ से भी ज़्यादा अगर प्रॉफिट बनाना है तो ज़रूर देखना एंड तक, बिकॉज आई एम श्योर ये पॉडकास्ट में तुम्हें सबसे ज़्यादा इंसाइट सुनने को मिलेंगे.
ये मतलब शुरू हो चुका है, नहीं हो चुका?
हाँ, सब शुरू
भी हो चुका है. वो किसी ने 1 2 3 नहीं बोला.
कुछ नहीं. Now you want 1 2 3
start.
Hello Prashant Pitti, welcome to figuring out.
No, I'm just kidding. हाँ, sorry, you were saying PR.
I'm saying PR training कैसे पब्लिक जाने से पहले ऐसा होता है कि
नहीं यार, ऐसा कोई
तुम्हें सारे लोग बैठ के
ज्ञान बांट
रहे हैं, सब बैठते, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर्स बैठते हैं, उनकी टीम्स बैठती है, पब्लिक मीडिया टीम बैठती है, रेगुलेटर्स बैठते हैं, या जो भी लॉ टीम बैठती है, वो बोलते हैं कि देखो ये 4 चीज़ें तुम आज तक करते थे, अब नहीं कर सकते.
There are multiple things which you learn while you're figuring out to go to be listed, right? And PR is one of them. यार honestly speaking, IPO से पहले तो हमारी ज़्यादा PR हुई भी नहीं. For the world we were forgotten and ignored for almost 12 years. 14 साल की जर्नी है, पहले 12 साल तो किसी ने हमारे बारे में लिखा ही नहीं. We never had this eye-grabbing headlines, right?
क्यों नहीं लिखा?
यार कभी 100 मिलियन रेज ही नहीं किया, कभी 200 मिलियन रेज ही नहीं किया. Since we were bootstrapped, nobody wanted to think so much about us. धीरे धीरे profitable grow रहे हैं, but the world didn't care enough about it. Headlines तो वहीं से आती है ना, that the company बड़ी होती जा रही है भैया. That's the only external validation the people have.
But कंपनी तो आपकी बड़ी हो ही रही होगी ना, 12 साल तो obviously year on year growth हो रही होगी.
Absolutely.
तो you never reached out to PR कि ऑर्गेनिक नहीं था तो इसलिए कभी?
Sometimes once in a while we did reach out to them. भाई हमारे इतने सारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स की इतनी स्टोरीज आती है, तो हम भी कभी कभार लिख देते थे भैया this is how we are growing. But honestly speaking, I don't think so. The world cares as much till the time there is one external validation mark, which is what I think a lot of bootstrap founders probably would also find it very hard. That they don't have that external validation, which people really rely upon a lot, rather than your own numbers which you're saying.
मतलब एक्सटर्नली कोई सेलिब्रेट नहीं करता तुम्हें बाहर कहीं भी?
हाँ, ये स्टार्टिंग का आप कह सकते हो कि 12 साल तक यही जर्नी थी. Most of the events we were not invited as well. Even travel related events we were not invited as much. And it's not that we were not growing. We were growing crazy fast. We were growing almost 75% year on year starting 2015. 2015 से तो हम year on year 75% grow कर रहे हैं.
तो if you were growing that fast, किसी VC ने अप्रोच नहीं किया कि पैसे ले लो?
Actually, for that we might actually start from the beginning. Okay. In year 2008, we did approach 2 or 3 VCs at that time. सब Bangalore based हुआ करते थे. So I did make a trip to Bangalore to meet those VCs. Now it turned out that everybody had already taken their bets. There were only few VCs at that time, and all 7 of our competitors pre-exist us. हमसे पहले से exist करते हैं.
तो 7 कौन थे?
The usual ones, MakeMyTrip, ClearTrip, Yatra, Exico, IBBO, they all pre-existed.
Okay.
And then couple of others who are no longer there anymore. So they all pre-existed, and the VCs had already taken our bet. And we try to tell them that we are trying to solve it in a different way. We are going B2B first, and then we'll probably turn B2C company. But I guess, that didn't really help to build the conviction कि यार already तुम B2C के लिए इतनी late हो और तुम कह रहे हो 3 साल के बाद में तुम B2C करोगे. That didn't make any sense for them, and rightly so. I mean, I don't think so there was anything wrong in their understanding of us, and probably whatever we have done so far, it's purely out of our hustle. And then we couldn't afford to lose. That was another reason. We put in our own 15 lakh rupees as capital in the company, and we just couldn't afford to lose that 15 lakh. That's the reason we exist.
You're someone who did everything bootstrapped. Okay. And I'm sure कि 2008 में maybe मना कर दिया होगा, but after a while, in couple of years, बहुत लोगों ने approach किया होगा कि यार अब fund ले लो. Probably at that time you didn't need it or you didn't want it. You were like...
So starting 2013, 14 onwards, we have had multiple VCs approaching us to invest in EaseMyTrip. And that has started, once they could see that there is a good traction coming in the business. And it's their job to track the companies, right? And it's not that we were also shut in our minds that we should not take any VC money. See, I think that, VC money is a great money to solve teething problems, as long as you do not make that as a part of your P&L. Okay. It should not become part of your P&L. It should, in your mind, stay as a liability. And if you treat that as a liability, then you would actually probably treat that money in a better format. It's a great money to solve, teething problems. It's not really, we were not against it.
Okay.
Met bunch of VCs during those times. But for most of them, they wanted to see how we could grow even faster than what we were growing by utilizing capital more, which is basically doing more discounts or spending more money on marketing or quote unquote painting the town red. Now, we did not really see the need of
painting the town red, as in, like, what do you mean by this quote?
Basically, EaseMyTrip छाप दो हर जगह, एयरपोर्ट पे छाप दो. एक VC का एडवाइस था, यार तुम्हारा सारा कस्टमर एयरपोर्ट पे है, why don't you take hoardings outside the airport, within the airport, जो तुम्हारा जहाँ पे शू रैक होता है उसके ऊपर EaseMyTrip लगा दो, ये
जो दिखता है वो बिकता है
types, right? So, but we did not really find the need of doing that. I'll actually give you one small tidbit around it. EaseMyTrip grew primarily because we don't charge convenience fees, right? We are known in the market as zero convenience fees guys. Now open up EaseMyTrip website right now, or our app. And in the entire website or app, you will not find written that we don't charge convenience fees. Like this is our biggest USP and we ourselves don't promote it.
Kyun?
I know. So yeah, basically this is what we have learned over the period of years, that अपना ढोल पीटने से कुछ नहीं होता है. मैं अगर टीवी पे जाके चिल्ला के बोलूंगा कि मैं कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज नहीं करता, जनता कहेगी कुछ और चार्ज करता होगा, तेरा तो काम है कमाना. बट इफ योर फ्रेंड टेल्स यू दैट आई डोंट, यार EaseMyTrip कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज नहीं करता है, ही डजंट हैव एनी हिडन बायस और एजेंडा. So grow, if you actually want to grow via word of mouth, you must leave certain things for the under the current for people to promote you.
Nice.
तो यार हमें वो पेंट द टाउन रेड करने का पॉइंट ही नहीं दिखता था. That there is no point. In fact हमें लगता था उसे काउंटर इंट्यूटिव हो जाएगा. If you paint the town red जो under the current word of mouth चल रहा है, that might actually stop.
So you focus more on building shareable value. कि कोई तो ऐसी वैल्यू हो जो बंदा खुद आगे करे वो शेयर करे लोगों से.
15 सेकंड के अंदर. So by the way, there is a huge difference between zero convenience fees and some convenience fees.
Okay.
अगर EaseMyTrip मेरे कॉम्पिटिटर्स 400 रुपये पर पैसेंजर कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज करते हैं, अगर मैं 100 रुपये पर पैसेंजर कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज करूँगा ना, मैनी पीपल आस्क करते हैं तुम 100 रुपये क्यों इशू कर देते, यू आर ऑलरेडी प्रॉफिटेबल, यू विल गेट मोर रिच, राइट, यू विल मेक मोर मनी. एंड माई आंसर टू दैट इज देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन जीरो कन्वीनियंस फीस एंड सम कन्वीनियंस फीस. आप अपने दोस्त को कभी ये नहीं बोलोगे कि यार आई नो अ वेबसाइट जो कम कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज करता है, बिकॉज देन यू आर कमिंग आउट इज चीप. आप अपने दोस्त को ये जरूर बोल दोगे कि आई नो अ वेबसाइट विच डज नॉट चार्ज कन्वीनियंस फीस, देन यू आर नॉट कमिंग आउट चीप, देन यू आर कमिंग आउट स्मार्ट. देयर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस बिटवीन बोथ. जीरो कन्वीनियंस फीस 0 and 400 के बीच में डिफरेंस है इनफाइनाइट का, इन टर्म्स अगर उसे मल्टीप्लाई किया जाए तो 100 और 400 के बीच में डिफरेंस है 4 टाइम्स का. तो it is very easy to say that अरे why you using XYZ website, it's a 15 second elevator pitch.
Yeah.
XYZ website use करा, EaseMyTrip पे आ, convenience fee charge नहीं करता है. That's the easiest pitch, right, to the consumers.
तो फिर पैसे कैसे कमाते हो? Convenience fee is तो one of the biggest
I know you're right.
ways to make money.
So the beauty of EaseMyTrip is not that we earn a lot. The beauty of the company, whatever we have built in the last 14 years, is that हमने अपने खर्चे ऐसे कर रखे हैं. we have created a very tightly knit ship, which allows us कि despite without charging convenience fees, we are still the only one which are profitable. Among the 7-8 OTAs, we are the only ones profitable. In fact, profitability का इतना difference है that in the last 14 years of our existence, which is 56 quarters, we have never seen a quarter of a loss, while our competitors have never seen a quarter of a profit. इतना बड़ा difference है, इतना stark difference.
सातों में.
For 56 quarters.
And for you're telling me like they've never seen profits.
Yeah.
Mostly, let's say like not
maybe one quarter if I'm forgetting, but otherwise.
But at large, they're
at
not.
large, yeah.
In 14 years,
yeah.
Make My Trip, Clear Trip, iBibo, Ixigo, I don't know और कितने नाम से, कितने सारे नाम हैं.
I can't say their names, but yes, that's what it is. That none of our competitors have made money, and while we have always been profitable since day one.
Yeah, तो फिर why are you like in terms of traffic you're number 2, right?
Correct.
Now you're not. वैसे by the way, kudos, like bootstrap लेके number 2 बन गए, that's killer. But my question is, when you had the opportunity कि भाई मेरे पास मैं इतना क्लोज नेट बना दिया है, मेरे खर्चे कम है, मेरा प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ज़्यादा है, ठीक है, why not accelerate that and get to number 1? Why not accelerate that? Like, do you think कि अगर फंडिंग ले लेते तो number 1 पे हो जाते? Because then you will get extra power to spend and actually become bigger player in the market by spending more on activity and acquiring customers. कि मतलब because you know when you're a bootstrap founder, right? अब बहुत चीज़ें सोच रहे हो क्योंकि there is no one else who has given you money to figure out things, right?
Correct.
That's just you.
Correct.
और आप उस टाइम पे बड़ा डर रहे हो कि यार अगर मैंने ये लगा दिया तो मेरा तो घर गया.
Correct.
मतलब कुछ
बिल्कुल
है ही नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है, क्या करूँगा, right?
बिल्कुल.
But when you have external capital, you have some capital to experiment. Okay, और वो भी liability है, but that experiment money gives you some level of comfort कि यार मुझे इस पैसे से ना figure out करना है नई चीज़, और आप raise भी उसी चीज़ के लिए करते हो.
I get this question a lot, which is that do you think that the innovation got to a secondary position just because you didn't have money?
Exactly, because you were always at cost cutting.
Correct. यार बिल्कुल उल्टा है. Life is just the opposite. You know, when you're actually pushed to the corner, then only you innovate. It's actually throwing money at the problem never solves the problem. It's just the opposite. I can give you hundreds of small tidbits where because we didn't have money, we were able to do so. It's not that we are extremely smart. It's just that we were always pushed to the corner. We were always considered as an underdog and nobody really cared as much. So हमने कहा ठीक है यार, let's try this, let's try that. I'll
give me an example here.
हाँ, multiple यार. So for example, among all the OTAs, we are the only ones who run our own call center. Everybody else outsourced it. Now that is basically, it started because of course we wanted to be more efficient, right? You know, since we didn't have VC money, we wanted to control things better. We wanted to own things better. We wanted to do things better. We wanted to be more efficient. It started off that, but it has created tremendous amount of ripple effects. Since we run our own call center, we have created multiple SOPs, how our call center employee needs to handle situation, all right? Since we own it and we are very close to it, we ourselves sit in our call center. Now, in the OTA world, what has happened is, you know, I told you that people come to EaseMyTrip because we don't charge convenience fees. But people stay with EaseMyTrip because we have a very tremendous amount of focus on customer focus. They stay, our repeat transaction rate for the last quarter was 93%. Which means in my last quarter, if there were 100 tickets booked, 93 were my previous customers. And hence, I'm not dependent on marketing very aggressively. 93% of people who are the past users of mine, right? So people stick with EaseMyTrip because of my call center. Now, call center happened because we were pushed to the corner. We didn't have money. Now, let me give you one SOP, all right? Which, I mean, we have created hundreds of them, but since you spoke about, you know, give an example. For all the tickets which are booked, 5 to 7% tickets are having user-generated issues. विच इज आपने दिल्ली बॉम्बे की जगह बॉम्बे दिल्ली बुक कर दी,
ओके,
आपने मिस्टर की जगह मिस लगा दिया, आपने 26 अक्टूबर की जगह 26 नवंबर की बुक कर दी. You know this happens, right? And there's a huge amount of anxiety at the time of paying because you want to double check, triple check, or because it's not like any other industry, food delivery, जिसमें ऑर्डर गलत ऑर्डर कर दो तो कैंसिल कर दो. यहाँ पे if you make a mistake, it's a huge cost to pay because airlines will deduct this money. Either me or any other of my competitor, nobody can help in this situation, right? So we have created an SOP, and our SOP is this. Instead of just saying, sorry, can't help it, we say, we are very sorry to hear what has happened, but please trust us, you're not alone. 30% people make such mistakes. That's the first line of statement. Second is that let us try our level best to get your money back. Let me write an email to the airline while copying you to see if money can come back. And then we have our own custom-made CRM. In that CRM, there is a button which is ask for refund. The agent, our call center agent, he only needs to click on that button and the email automatically populates and it automatically goes while copying that particular customer. Now, in this way, we have helped customer in two ways. First, we have basically people can take, this is one insight we have, people can easily take monetary loss, but the loss of ego is the bigger loss. जो फ्लाई कर रहा है वो पैसे का लॉस झेल लेगा, वो अपनी ईगो का लॉस नहीं झेलेगा. And by telling him that, you know, you're not alone, 30% people make such mistakes, you're actually saving his ego.
Yeah.
वो घर में जाके अपना चेहरा दिखा सकता है कि मैं दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा एल नहीं हूँ. That's how, you know, the first thing. And then second, that we are helpful in nature. We have written the email to the airline.
You've copied the guy.
We have copied the guy. He knows that we have tried. And then that guy itself, he repeatedly emailed the airlines on the same email thread. और हमने देखा बहुत बार पैसे भी ले आते हैं यार ये लोग, बार बार मेल कर करके अपनी you know, medical certificate upload करके this and that, they get the money back as well. So these are the small tidbits. For example, I'll give you another tidbit around it. So in our call center, see, I will talk a lot about call center.
Yeah.
And because, you know, nobody calls you during happy times. They only call you during distressful times, right? किसी की flight miss हो गई, कोई होटल में early check-in नहीं दे रहा. This is where people are, you know, usually calling you, that they're not really in the happy zone. And that is why I think EaseMyTrip grew primarily because most of our competitors did not want to own this experience. While we have been owning this experience for last 14 years, that which is that हम खुद अपना call center run करते हैं and we know how to handle these situations. Now, what we have done is, what we realized was that problem क्या हो रही थी कि what the call center executive was hearing and what was coming till the manager level, उसके बीच में there was a lot of information which was getting lost. For example, कोई एक आदमी है हनीमून पे जा रहा है, उसने जो इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया कि मैं हनीमून पे जा रहा हूँ, दिस वॉज माई फर्स्ट फ्लाइट एवर, और मेरी टांग टूट गई है, अब मैं हनीमून पे नहीं जा सकता हूँ, सो आई वुड नीड माई रिफंड. राइट नाउ airlines usually will not give refund even in such situation unless you call them and you make a special request. ठीक है, मैनेजर तक क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन आती थी, मैनेजर सर को रिफंड मांग रहा है, दैट्स ऑल, विदाउट द कॉन्टेक्स्ट कि पहली फ्लाइट थी, हनीमून था, नहीं जा रहा है, बेचारे का पैर टूट गया, हनीमून पे दोबारा तो जाएगा ही, सो ही नीड्स दैट मनी बैक सो दैट ही कैन एक्चुअली फ्लाई अगेन नेक्स्ट टाइम, राइट. वो इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं जाती है, द इन्फॉर्मेशन गेट्स लॉस्ट. सो हमने क्या किया, वी बेसिकली क्रिएटेड अ किटी for our call center executive.
Okay.
Yeah, it is at your discretion, which is basically linked to our last quarter's profit. हमें last quarter के profit से एक हमने kitty, I cannot disclose the number, but there's a kitty which is at the discretion of our call center executive. उस महीने की जब तक kitty खत्म नहीं हो जाती, तब तक call center without even calling the manager or speaking to the manager, at his discretion, his or her discretion, can take a call over the phone itself. क्या ये रिफंड हम कर रहे हैं, एयरलाइन से पैसा आएगा तो ठीक, नहीं आएगा तो ठीक. This is the refund which we will give from our pocket because it is an exception situation. It is an exception and we honor that and we would like to refund your money. We will fight with the airlines later on to see if we can get that money or not. But that kitty takes care of exceptional cases.
Sweet. That's something very new. I've never heard of that ever before. Because you're technically in a let's say agenting, contracting, commissioning business. And in that business, if you're taking a call of not being the source of money who's collecting it, but the person who's actually giving it back without confirming from the source whether you can do it or not, it's like a big thing because दैट मतलब रिफंड एक दिन में एक नहीं आता है.
अरे हमने तो काफ़ी बड़े बड़े इसके ऊपर कांड भी किए हुए हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ व्हाट हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग द कोविड टाइम्स. सो कोविड हैपेंड, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन हमारे पीएम सर आए, बोला कि भैया पूरी कंट्री बंद, तो पूरी कंट्री बंद. नाउ पीपल वर स्ट्रैंडेड, पीपल वांटेड टू गो बैक टू देयर होम. कोई बॉम्बे में है, उसको वापस बिहार जाना है, कोई कहीं पे है, कोई कहीं पे, राइट? एंड दे नीडेड दैट मनी टू ट्रैवल वाया व्हाटएवर मीन्स दे कैन. ठीक है. So we were getting tremendous amount, and not just us, everybody was getting tremendous amount of calls to get the refund. सबकी फ्लाइट्स एकदम से कैंसिल हो गई है, और कॉल्स उठा नहीं सकते हैं क्योंकि कॉल सेंटर जा नहीं सकते हैं, बट कॉल वॉल्यूम स्पाइक अप हो गई है. इंस्टेड ऑफ गेटिंग, वी वर गेटिंग 2-3,000 कॉल्स अ डे एट दैट टाइम. आई थिंक वी स्टार्ट गेटिंग 10,000-12,000 कॉल्स अ डे, और कॉल्स उठा भी नहीं पा रहे हैं, बट पता है कि इशू ये चल रहा है बहुत बड़ा. Now we decided at EaseMyTrip, we decided कि यार हमारे पास में we had accumulation of about 220 or 30 odd crores as a profit which we accumulated for the last 12 odd years. मैं year 2020 की बात बता रहा हूँ. तो 220-230 करोड़ रुपए का प्रॉफिट पड़ा हुआ था कंपनी के ना एज अ कैश रिजर्व. तो हमने यार लोगों को 130 करोड़ आउट ऑफ अवर कैश रिजर्व्स रिफंड दे दिया.
What?
हमने कुछ एयरलाइंस को दे दिया. आई रिमेंबर लिटरली वी हैड ओनली लाइक 20-30 करोड़ इन आवर बैंक अकाउंट. देन हमने 130 करोड़ कस्टमर को दे दिया. कुछ हमने एयरलाइंस की हेल्प करी क्योंकि एयरलाइंस का भी बहुत बुरा हाल चला था. सो वी गेव अबाउट 70-80 odd crores to the airlines, 130 to the customers.
Wow.
Hoping that none of these airlines or the hotels would die, because if they do, then we will lose that money.
Yeah.
If they go bankrupt. But if they don't go bankrupt, if they come back, then we will get that money, right? Eventually, क्योंकि refund तो देना ही है. But airlines and hotels don't have money right now to refund. But we have the money. So why don't we refund it out of our pocket? At that moment, आइडिया ये था कि यार अगर कोविड में सबको मरना है तो इस पैसे का कोई काम नहीं, और कोई मरेगा नहीं तो वापस आ जाएगा पैसा. सो दिस इज हाउ वी एक्चुअली, इट्स अ पब्लिक इन्फॉर्मेशन, वी रिफंडेड द मनी टू पीपल. एंड स्ट्रेट अप जुलाई 2020 when the travel opened up again after 3-4 months, we jumped from being the third largest to the second largest right then there. Clear information hai, it's again public information. We were the third largest prior to COVID, and as soon as lockdown was removed, we immediately jumped to become the second largest. What happened was that, there was a huge uproar on social media where people were tagging our competitors and saying, मेरे दोस्त को तो EaseMyTrip ने पैसा दे दिया, मेरा पैसा कहाँ है? And our competitors were not doing anything wrong because they didn't get the money from the airlines, right? We just did a little bit extra bit, and that paid us back in compounding way, crazy way.
Dude, that's crazy. I didn't know this. Damn, this should have been in my research. But no, that's amazing. That's a bold move. I think that shows a lot about entrepreneur and the kind of principles and values you come from and what you have in life. Because this is not a very company-led decision. It's a very humanity-led decision.
It was more emotional.
Emotional, right? It's a very humanity-led कि भाई मेरी कल पे अगर ऐसा होता कि दूसरी जगह मेरी अगर अटक जाते पैसे, मेरा रिफंड अटक जाता तो मैं क्या करता? I would have also expected the same thing. It was
more, just being in the flow and, taking a call, which I don't think so as a listed company now we can. अब तो हम नहीं कर सकते ऐसी चीजें जो हम this was before we being listed.
Yeah, I know. क्योंकि अब responsibilities, stakeholders are at the other end.
Yeah, we have lakhs of shareholders. Literally, by having zero investors since we grew bootstrapped, now we have like lakhs of shareholders whom we are responsible to.
Quick philosophical question. You started, and there was a time, like you started a garage, right? And then there was a time when you were about to shut. मतलब खत्म होने वाला था, ज़्यादा नहीं चल रहा था. At that time, you still kept going. Right? What kept you going? या ऐसा क्या होता है, क्योंकि ना बहुत सारे लोग entrepreneurship में स्टार्ट तो कर देते हैं, bootstrap, VC, whatever, like 100 ways they started, बहुत क्योंकि फैंसी लगता है, और फिर थोड़ा टाइम फाइट मारते बंद कर देते हैं. Like it's not. What do you think? Like what keeps entrepreneurs going at the time when you can't see tomorrow? You don't feel like what's the.
So I'll give a context कि हुआ क्या था. So when we started EaseMyTrip, we were a B2B company. We were not a B2C company. You can say that we created a software for travel agents. ठीक है?
Okay.
उस टाइम SaaS वर्ड था भी नहीं. So we created, let's say, a software for travel agents. पहले 3 साल हमने यही काम किया है. So, but it was very valuable because before even starting EaseMyTrip, we were a travel agent ourselves. We ran Duke Travel Agency.
Yeah.
Duke Travel Agency से EaseMyTrip बना है. So we knew exactly what the pain point of a travel agent was because we ourselves were a travel agent. तो हुआ ये था, as soon as we started EaseMyTrip for travel agent, 3-4 महीने बाद में there was this travel agent who basically used fake credit cards and book tickets worth 26 lakhs on our platform.
Okay.
26 लाख की टिकट्स बुक कर ली.
Fake credit card से.
फेक क्रेडिट कार्ड से टिकट्स बुक कर ली उसने. मतलब फेक कह लो, स्टोलन कह लो, आई डोंट रिमेंबर नाउ. स्टोलन था मोस्ट लाइकली. स्टोलन क्रेडिट कार्ड से उसने टिकट बुक कर ली एंड हिज पैसेंजर्स फ्लू द सेम नाइट. उसने एकदम लास्ट मिनट बुकिंग करी थी. हिज पैसेंजर्स फ्लू द सेम नाइट. पैसेंजर चले गए. अब वो क्रेडिट कार्ड का चार्ज बैक आ गया कि भैया ये तो सारा का सारा स्टोलन था और हमारे यहाँ बुरा हाल हो गया कि भैया अब तो कोई पैसा था नहीं, हमने कुछ थोड़े बहुत पैसे लगाए थे और थोड़े बहुत उधार लिए हुए थे और यहाँ पे अभी क्रेडिट भी था, एयरलाइंस को पैसे देने थे, तो क्या करें. So that time it was like, that was the only time I would say that EaseMyTrip was brink of shutting down. 3 महीने, we were 3 months into it. So that time we were very close to say कि भैया चलो नहीं होगा,
बंद हो जाएगा,
ये नहीं चल पाएगा. But you can say sanity or insanity, whatever, prevailed. And we like, yeah, let's give it another try. क्योंकि I moved back from US. One of my brothers actually, dropped out of college for EaseMyTrip. One of the brothers, he was also doing some work and he also switched, right, for EaseMyTrip. So we knew कि यार इतनी जल्दी तो नहीं छोड़ सकते क्योंकि अभी 3 महीने तो हुए. इतना बड़ा डिसीजन लिया था. So that time, got some help from the family as well. Father also said that ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, होता रहता है, it's okay, yeah, give it another try. So that support system is very important, of course, where there are people who are telling you ki, what the hell did you do? Instead of saying what the hell did you do, you just need to hear 2 people say it's okay. And if just 2 people say it's okay, then you start thinking it's okay. If 2 people say that what the hell did you do, then you think that what the hell did I do, right?
True.
So you just need that 2 sane people or insane people to say it's okay.
तो उस टाइम पे like yeah, because when everything you feel, everywhere you feel कि यार अब तुमसे हो नहीं पाएगा, you're not the right person, business सही नहीं है, मैं गलत जगह एंटर कर दिया, कुछ और ट्राई कर लेता हूँ. At that time if someone tells you that hey, it's okay यार, हो जाएगा, अभी तो कर ले.
Correct.
So that gives you a lot of hope.
That gives you, I mean, in the moment, right? These are decisions which are in the moment. 2 लोगों ने तुम्हें गलत बोल दिया, तुम्हारा मुंह उतर जाता है, right? फिर छोड़ो यार.
वो सोशल मीडिया पे होता है ना, that 100 people are commenting that hey, you look amazing, this is nice, this is, but आपका ध्यान जाता है सिर्फ एक पे कि एक जगह बोलते हैं ए तू बहुत बेकार बोलता है, बेकार दिखता है,
तू हकला रहा है,
तू हकला. Yeah man, I know, and वो एक ही पॉइंट पे like वो it's that theory, right? On a whiteboard what you see is a black dot.
Correct.
Right?
बिल्कुल.
That's just okay. So another one I had कि when we start businesses, okay, जब स्टार्ट करते हैं ना तो एवरीबडी वांट्स टू डू समथिंग यूनिक, एवरीबडी वांट्स टू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट कि यार कुछ नया करते हैं, कुछ बड़ा बनाते हैं, तभी बड़ी कंपनी बनेगी, बड़ा ये होगा. यू डिडंट डू दैट. यू एंटर्ड अ वेरी कॉम्पिटिटिव मार्केट. आपने बोला कि यहाँ तो बहुत लोग हैं, मैं भी चले जाता हूँ. एंड इट्स, और सारे लोग गुड फंडेड, सबके पास बहुत पैसा था, ऑलरेडी रेस में बहुत आगे थे. तो फिर क्यों क्लटर्ड मार्केट में क्यों स्टार्ट किया?
Yeah, we didn't choose the market. The market chose us. हम तो travel agent थे. We started from the basics. See, everybody else was given check to start the company. Nobody was in this business before. They were given check कि जाओ ये company शुरू कर लो, right? OTS related. We did not choose this industry. The industry chose us. हमें तो हम travel agent. In fact, हमारी तो story travel agency से भी पहले की है. How we entered into this. So 2 of my younger brothers, I was in the US at that time. 2 of my younger brothers, Nishant and Rikant.
Where did you study from?
I studied from IIT Madras.
Okay.
So I got a job in the US. तो सीधा मैं US चला गया था after my college. So Nishant and Rikant, during Air Deccan times, Air Deccan, in year 2005-06, they used to offer 1 rupee air ticket.
Yeah.
1 रुपए की air ticket देते थे. So my brothers, they found a hack how to get that 1 rupee air ticket every time.
Okay. So 1 रुपए की टिकट कितने लोगों को देते थे air ticket?
वो दिन में 30-40 देते थे, सारी हमें मिल जाती थी. So they found a ethical way, algorithm. They understood the algorithm of what is happening and when that 1 rupee ticket is going to come. And they were taking that 1 rupee ticket out of fun. And they did that for almost about a month. And then the air Deccan guys, they got really pissed कि यार मीडिया में बोले जा रहे हैं कि ₹1 टिकट है और ₹1 टिकट लोगों के पास तो जा ही नहीं रही है, सारे के सारे इन बच्चों के पास जा रही है. So they, after attempting to change the algorithm multiple times and failing at it, they called us and said कि यार तुम हमारी नॉर्थ इंडिया की डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरशिप संभाल लो, ये काम बंद कर दो. That's how Duke Travel Agency started. That's how Duke Travel Agency started. And then for running Duke Travel Agency for about 1.5 years or 2, we realized that there are a lot of pain points travel agent goes through which can be solved using technology. And that's how EaseMyTrip started. So one thing led to the other. We were never too focused on the outside world कि बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं.
Got it.
We just followed our footsteps which were very natural. कि ये किया अब इसके बाद क्या करना चाहिए, ये किया अब इसके बाद क्या करना चाहिए. We ran B2B company for 3 years. Later on realized yeah we could do so much better. तो B2C बन जाते हैं. That's how we evolved from धीरे we evolved. We were never focused on the outside कि बाहर कितने लोग फंड उठा चुके हैं, कितने competitors existing हैं. And ignorance is bliss in that sense, right? अगर हमें पता होता है ये सारी चीज़ें कि यार कोई $100 मिलियन लेके बैठा हुआ है, कोई $200 मिलियन लेके बैठा हुआ है और हम अपना कभी किसी साल 2 लाख लगा रहे हैं, कभी किसी साल 3 लाख रुपए लगा रहे हैं. So I don't think so we would have had that guts to start EaseMyTrip. It's just that we were ignored about all this.
That's an interesting take, you know. जो आप बोल रहे हो उसके हिसाब से यू आर टेलिंग कि बाहर की न्यूज़ मत देखो, दिमाग मत लगाओ, खुद के धंधे पे खुद फोकस करो और इनसाइड पे फोकस्ड रहो.
If you know that your fundamentals are absolutely rock solid, ठीक है ना. हमें पता था कि यार हमें उस टाइम पे एयरलाइन से 6% आता है, मैं कैसे 5% में अपना गुजार कर सकता हूँ. If you're absolutely sure of that, और 1% मुझे बच जाएगा, 6% आता है, 5% में दे
तुम्हारे नेट एक्सपेंसेस नेट रेवेन्यू से कम है तो ठीक.
Your unit economics must be very very strong, and if you have that, and it's a great huge market, in fact it worked in our favor that everybody else was not in their unit economics. It worked in our favor that everybody, see what happens is the inefficiency of an organization gets breeded into it. जब आप 20 साल से रन करो, couple of my competitors have been existing for 20 years now, right? Now, for 20 years, if you are inefficient, that means it's going to be extremely hard for you to change it now. It breeds into the system. The entire system becomes inefficient. And hence, it's very hard for them to pivot. It's very easy for us to say, right? कि यार क्या है, कुछ employees हटा दो, ये कर दो. It's not that easy. I'll give you an example for ourselves. हम अपनी personal life नहीं change कर पाते. हम 7,000 लोगों का डिसीजन कैसे लेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट्स से आई एम अर्निंग 7 lakhs a month right now, ठीक है ना. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आई हैव सर्टन लाइफ स्टाइल, माई किड्स गो टू सर्टन स्कूल, आई ड्राइव अ सर्टन काइंड ऑफ कार, राइट. गॉड फॉरबिड कल को मेरी सैलरी 50,000 रुपये पर मंथ हो जाती है, क्या मैं अपने बच्चों को स्कूल से निकाल पाऊंगा? मैं लोन लूंगा, मैं अपनी लाइफ स्टाइल नहीं बदल पाऊंगा, राइट. नाउ इफ यू कांट चेंज योर ओन इनएफिशिएंसीज, how can you change it for 7,000 people in your organization? How hard it is. It's so much easier said than done. The human part of us does not allow us to do that. It's very, very hard to actually cut people's job and change their lives in a bad way. You know, to look in their eye and say that, yes, I was screwing up all this while, and now I am taking a hard call. It's extremely hard to do. It's so much more easier said than done.
Hey, so tell me, this gets me to a good point. Tell me the top 3 principles or top 3 values which organizations of today should keep in mind when they're building a startup, when they're building a company. जैसे one is, you said वो बहुत hardcore है, वो दिखता है. I don't even need to ask you for that. Unit economic pauses होने चाहिए तुम day one से. Unit economics positive. That's what you believe in. So that's one. बाकी दो और values.
That's not true for all the businesses. I might actually even put a caution around it. See, what we are doing is we are running a commodity business. There is very little novelty in the buying experience of a hotel or a airline or a bus ticket. क्योंकि आप जिस भी airlines कहीं से भी बुक करोगे, आपकी airlines का cushion नहीं बदलेगा, वो वही रहेगा. चाहे A से खरीदो, चाहे B से खरीदो, चाहे C से खरीदो. Same goes for hotel stay. आप होटल लोगे तो आपके होटल का मैट्रेस नहीं बदलेगा, चाहे मुझसे खरीदो या किसी और से खरीदो. So it's a commodity business. And the basic of a commodity business is that you must keep your cost low and offer value to customers by giving them a great price and great service. And if you can do that consistently for a long period of time, then you don't have to spend money on marketing. अब आपको marketing में खर्चे करने की जरूरत नहीं है, लोग अपने आप आएंगे. That is the base principle which we have followed, and this principle works very well in a commodity business. unit economics need not be right from day one in non-commodity business. And hence, I am putting a caveat out over here.
Fair.
That it's not necessary for you to focus so much on unit economics if you're doing a novelty business. If you're doing a non-commodity driven business.
Category creation business.
Category creation business for that matter. However, having a very high level of efficiency, even if unit economics is not making sense right now, is a must according to me. Having a extremely high focus on efficiency so that it does not breed into your system. जैसे मैंने बताया कि भाई बाद में जाके डिसीजंस लेने बहुत मुश्किल हो जाते हैं. Hence, follow that discipline from the day one is what I would surely say, no matter what you are building.
Okay, so that's the first. दो और principles बताओ जो एकदम top level चाहिए होते हैं.
As an entrepreneur, I would say that I have always followed this principle for myself, which is it's always better to be more curious than cautious.
Curious than cautious.
Yes.
Okay.
I've always followed this principle, and I had to learn this, by the way. I have a different say. I have a hot take on this. I'm from IIT, right? I believe what you see, or the entrepreneurs you see from IIT and IIMs, they are actually an exception. Most of the IIT and IIM folks who are, for example, not entrepreneur in nature or even entrepreneur in nature, are usually very risk averse people. यार हम risk averse थे जब भी तो इतनी पढ़ाई करी. ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं था ना. 2 साल कितना जी जान लगा के पढ़ाई करी, दिन में 12-12 घंटे पढ़ाई करी. क्यों करी? Because we were risk averse in nature. We wanted to mitigate the risk and hence we put so much effort in it. मुझे लगता है most of the entrepreneurs, most of the students from, most of the people who go to IIT and IIM are actually very risk averse people. So at least for myself, I had to learn to be more curious than cautious. ये starting के अंदर 2008, 9, 10 में मैंने अपने ऊपर बहुत fight मारी है to become this. क्योंकि otherwise I was always stuck in analysis paralysis. मैं फंसा रह जाता था. I've had couple of failed startups as well in between, and I knew that most of the things went wrong probably because of this. That I was very much stuck in not taking a decision till I was 99% comfortable. And by that time, it was too late. I literally had to learn that you have to start taking decisions even if you have 50% information. So that's one big learning I've had, that it's okay to make mistakes, but as long as you are moving faster. That's another big learning which I had.
Okay, so talking about mistakes, tell me the top 3 mistakes you made.
In life in general?
Yeah, you can tell me anything. I'm okay. I'm open to hear the life story.
Yeah.
And EaseMyTrip story. You tell me anything. Like top 3 mistakes which you feel like the highlights कि यार ये 3 चीजें शायद नहीं करनी थी.
Yeah, honestly speaking, it's very difficult to categorize them as a mistake because there is no retake in the life.
No, I'm saying they can be learnings.
हाँ,
but
correct.
at that time they were mistakes.
Yeah.
EaseMyTrip में कुछ होगा.
EaseMyTrip में, of course, the fake credit card thing that happened, right? We should have had the proper HTML protocols to protect
Check it.
We didn't. At that time, ST, तो मैं भूल भी रहा हूँ, एक होता है protocol. You have to have that protocol in place so that you don't take that money from people which are basically from stolen credit cards or fake credit cards. So we didn't have that, and we were on the brink of shutting down at that time. The other thing which I would say is that maybe, and I'm not sure how it would have panned out, but maybe had we taken some money in the beginning, we could have made our lives less miserable. थोड़ा सा starting के अंदर पैसा ले लिया होता, we could have made our lives less miserable, because see, otherwise for the entire 12-13 odd years, we literally had David versus Goliath battle.
Yeah.
Where the least amount of money one of my competitors had raised was $150 million. That's the least amount of money. It went up to 3 billion. All right. And we were competing against 15 lakh रुपए जो हमने लगाए over the period of 5 years.
सबसे छोटे player क्या 120 करोड़ थे.
हाँ, तो you know that's 120 crore नहीं, million. So $120
million
at that time, right? Yeah. Then multiple others came which raised a little bit lesser than that, but at that time. So
that's like quarter to like 1,000-1,200 crore.
Correct. So we could have raised a little bit of amount of money, not a lot, but a little bit of amount of money to make our lives a little bit easier. But then again, I'm not sure. Would we be this efficient as a company? I'm not sure about this. And that is why in the hindsight also, I can't say that had we changed parts, It's very difficult, right, for you to say, ki, had we changed paths, what would have come out of it? Because we don't know. There are no retakes in life. We don't know what could have come out of it.
So what do you, by the way, there's always a debate between growth versus profitability. What do you believe in now? I mean, in the beginning, you obviously
now it's pretty much settled, right? Now the entire world is talking about profitability. I think
now the conversation is settled. Yeah.
now the conversation is for see, it's a cyclical thing anyways. अभी 2 साल तक profitability की बात होगी, फिर से वापस growth की बात शुरू हो जाएगी. It's anyways cyclical. The world.
So it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle of raising versus deploying.
Correct.
So I was reading about it somewhere. Usually क्या होता है कि पूरा एक टिपिकल साइकिल होती है 4 to 5 years. Okay. तो 4 to 5 years के बाद एक बार पूरा जो वर्ल्ड होता है पैसे रेस करता है फ्रॉम द पीपल हु हैव मनी.
Correct.
राइट. सो वेदर इट्स VCs, वेदर इट्स hedge funds, वेदर इट्स
Absolutely.
PE, लाइक जो भी सब एक पैसा रेस करते हैं.
The LPs put in money.
LPs put, हाँ. तो लोग अब जो इन्होंने बहुत पैसे कमा दिए, लेगेसी पैसा है या रीसेंट न्यू पैसा है, वो लोग अपना इंडिविजुअल कैपेसिटी में पैसा देते हैं टेक्निकली वेल्थ मैनेजर्स को.
करेक्ट.
राइट. और वो उस टाइम पे 10 बिलियन, 5 बिलियन, 2 बिलियन, जो भी एक रेस होता है एक फंड के पास, वो रेस होता है. फिर वो फंड जाता है मार्केट में कि कौन से ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स है, कौन से ऐसे लोग हैं जिनमें मैं पैसा लगा सकता हूँ. राइट. तो वो 4 साल की साइकिल में जब नया नया रेस करते हैं तब वो बहुत कॉशियस होते हैं लगाने में.
करेक्ट.
वर्सेस जो 4th ईयर होता है जब उनको, या 5th ईयर होता है जब उनको खत्म करना होता है कि भाई अगले साल तो नया रेस करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि 5 हमने गारंटी दी थी,
पड़ा हुआ तो खत्म करना जरूरी है.
तो तब पैसा लास्ट के 2 years में एकदम से दबा के लगता है.
Correct.
So that's what happened. So last year I think a lot of people raised money. So that's why this year is difficult. Next year is going to be difficult. But next to next year,
Correct.
again things will come back, right? This is how the world works. I'm very naive in this. Correct me if I'm wrong. मैंने तो सिर्फ एक जगह आर्टिकल पढ़ा तो
No, I mean, there are multiple other factors as well around this. Geopolitical situations, the world economy, and there are multiple things.
बस मोटा मोटी ऐसा होता है.
हाँ, but certainly yes, there is an angle of what you have just said, which is basically raising का जो cycle होता है, वो आप किस period पे हो, किस what duration are you at when you're raised for, let's say 5 years, what duration are you at? So you're absolutely right. But yeah, what does not change is business fundamentals. And I really, really believe that businesses are done only for 2 reasons.
Okay.
There's no third reason in my eye. One is to make your customer extremely happy with what you're doing, to serve him really, really well. And second, to do it profitably so that you can serve him for a long period of time. See, profitability will never be able to, VC money will never replace profitability. Can never replace it. As simple as that. As I said, it's a good teething money to solve your teething problems. But आप उसको profitability का offset नहीं बना सकते हो. And hence, if these are the only 2 reasons you must do business, then you gotta figure out how to do it profitably. If not in first 2-3 years, then 4th year, 5th year. But by the end of 5th year, the teething problem should have been solved. This is how what my yardstick is. क्या 5 साल के बाद भी तुम कितने बड़े बच्चे हो गए यार? अब तो 5 साल हो गए, teething problems खत्म हो जानी चाहिए. This is how I see most of the businesses as. And hence, if profitability must come at the cost of growth, so be it.
So अगर ओके यू फील बिजनेस होता है कस्टमर को हैप्पी करने के लिए, या एंड सेकंड इज उसको लॉन्ग टर्म तक हैप्पी करने के लिए. So, ठीक है. इसके लिए बिजनेस नहीं होता कि खुद की वेल्थ बनानी है, पैसे करने हैं खुद को. बहुत सारे लोग हैं वो तो एंटर इसलिए करते हैं कि भाई मेरे पास एक बहुत सेक्सी कार होगी, मेरे पास मेरा घर बड़ा हो जाएगा, मेरी लाइफ की सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएंगी, बहुत पैसा आने से.
there is much more likelihood of you to make money, decent amount of money, while being in a job than being an entrepreneur. You know, what entrepreneurs people usually see are an exception. There are 99.9 other entrepreneurs who have not made it till over there. So if you want to live a decent life and have a good car, having a stabler job is actually will give you that at least in a surety. In let's say 10 years down the line, 12 years down the line, as an entrepreneur, there is no surety on तुम्हारा घर भी चला जाएगा, ये भी हो सकता है. So
touch wood. Touch wood. Okay. Life is good. I'm super grateful. God, thank you.
We all must thank. I mean, recently somebody said that what is the formula of being a unicorn? Right? I also run a podcast called as Decoding Unicorns. Yeah. So somebody asked me that what is a formula of being a unicorn? The answer is there is no formula. Most of the unicorns or decent doing startups are actually an exception in their category. You have to be an exception to have a category. And now how can you beat the exceptions and make a mala out of it?
Yeah.
Everybody's an exception and everybody's an outlier. And hence there is no success formula out over here. And hence I'm saying it's actually very difficult to...
But I kind of disagree a little bit, because I feel every successful person or successful company has a pattern.
You probably would know better. Tell me. I'm happy to hear this.
No, it's just, I am a big fan of pattern recognition.
Okay.
मुझे बड़ा मजा आता है पैटर्न रिकॉग्नाइज करने में. और है ना, अचीवर्स के पैटर्न्स होते हैं.
Okay.
जैसे आई टेल यू एक बहुत सिंपल चीज़, राइट? 99 हर किसी में एक एक्सेप्शन होते हैं, आउटलायर्स होते हैं, राइट? बट 99% ऑफ अचीवर्स का एक सिंपल पैटर्न होता है कि वो बहुत डिसिप्लिन्ड होते हैं. उनकी हर लाइफ में हर चीज़ उनको पता होती है कि मैं ये तो मुझे करना ही है 10 चीज़ रोज सुबह उठ के एग्जाम, राइट? तो एक पैटर्न होता है.
I'll tell you a problem in this situation. Those are necessary conditions, but not sufficient conditions. Those are prerequisite conditions. There are a lot of people who are extremely disciplined, but have not made it to the cut.
Yeah.
You don't hear about them, right?
नहीं, I'm just giving an example.
Correct.
कि जैसे ये एक पैटर्न है.
Correct.
तो ऐसे बहुत सारे you could see the patterns when you actually study most of the businesses and most of the successful founders or brands at large. या तो हो सकता है कि बिकॉज वो लोग सब बन गए हैं और इतने बड़े हो गए, तो अब it's very easy to connect the dots and draw parallels.
Correct.
At the time of building,
I
maybe
think we
it's
both
not
are
there.
saying the same thing. While figuring it out,
You don't know the formula.
You don't know the formula. You can only see everything in the hindsight, in retrospect. While figuring it out, there is no one set formula. For every successful founder whom you would say is very disciplined, I can point you one undisciplined successful founder around it.
And you can tell me an unsuccessful founder who's also disciplined.
Correct.
No, that is fair. पर स्टिल मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत सारे सक्सेसफुल लोगों के ना सक्सेसफुल पैटर्न्स होते हैं. बहुत सारी चीज़ें मैच करती है इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर हेल्थ, इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर माइंडसेट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर वेल्थ, इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर रिलेशनशिप, इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर प्रोडक्टिविटी. मतलब बहुत सारी चीज़ होती है जो...
But I would also say this thing that actually it is not a, at EaseMyTrip, we are one of the very few bootstrapped unicorns, right?
Yeah.
Now, for that to happen, it is not necessary that the founders have to be exception. We were just in the right place at the right time, got tremendous amount of right help. Then only all this conspired, right? नहीं तो ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता ना कि इतना बड़ा exception just purely out of your somebody's intellect happened.
That's not possible.
It's just not possible कि एक intellect से इतना बड़ा कुछ बन गया है. I mean, and that is why I also say that many times, I say this to myself and to other founders as well, that you should not take yourself too seriously. You don't know what has made you come till over here.
True.
You just cannot take yourself too seriously in the entire gamut of this world. One small help can have tremendous amount of butterfly effect. And I know, for instances, at many places where we got divinely help from some people. And because of those divinely helps at the right time, at the right place, got us to where we are. And it cannot, it'd be very stupid for me to attribute most of that to my hard work or our hard work, our discipline. It's just that so many people help you on the course of the journey to make you who you are.
This is what I believe in, okay? This might sound funny to you. 99% of what you are is pure luck.
Yeah.
1% is what you manufacture your luck to be.
I tend to agree with that.
Right. It's
just being out there.
Exactly.
Just being
so
out
luck
there.
is a skill.
Correct.
Right? But that luck is a skill is only 1%.
Correct.
99% is organically you're maybe in the right market, at the right time, with the right people. Just like Air Deccan happened to give 1 rupee at the same time. Tabhi wo hack bana, right?
Just being out there,
just being out there. Exactly.
Just being out there, you construct your life.
That is 99%. But the other 1% is you manufacturing it.
Correct.
And that manufacturing is identifying a pattern कि okay इसको ब्रेक कैसे किया जा सकता है ताकि 30 की 30 टिकट मेरे पास आए. Okay, इसके बाद अगर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हमको ऑफर हुआ है तो हम क्यों नहीं कर लेते, हम लोग कर सकते हैं. फिर उसके बाद अरे बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही है तो हम लोग B2B बना देते हैं. Then you actually go out, maybe hang out at the right places, meet the right people, do the right things, be there always, right? That is 1% of manufacturing.
Correct. And I'll tell you one more thing though, since you asked me what really worked for EaseMyTrip. Actually long-term thinking in your business. As an entrepreneur, our job is to actually optimize for a decade, not for few years. जब हमने B2B से B2C shift किया था ना राज, at that time, we had about 11,000 travel agents who were using us. Now we clearly knew कि जैसे ही हमने B2C में शिफ्ट किया, आधे से ज़्यादा हमें छोड़ देंगे. In year 2011, we knew because we spoke to them. We were trying to plan the idea कि क्या हम B2C बन जाए. Travel agents were extremely opposed to that because they thought that we will cannibalize their business, right? अगर हम खुद ही customer से directly book करने लग जाते हैं, बेचने लग जाते हैं तो. So we knew clearly that we will lose the entire business as we turn B2C, right? But yet, our job was to optimize for a decade, not for few years. हमारा business तो grow रहा था, but we knew your travel agent का business ज़्यादा grow नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि eventually people will start booking themselves.
Yeah.
People were already booking themselves, right? And that transition was happening. So as a founder, if you actually align your luck with your vision, which could be a larger, which could be a long term, then the chances of success, increases dramatically.
ये बहुत difficult होता है पता है in the beginning to
हाँ नहीं, it is
think
difficult.
long term.
It is.
It's very easy to say. I remember. So now for me, it's easier to think long term with my new business, new startup which I'm building, and now I think of in the window of 10 years. Mm-hmm. Because I've been doing business and stuff since last 10 years. So अब मेरा confidence हो गया, ऐसा बन गया. But I remember when I started, okay, forget the last business. When I started the podcasting conversation, I was just optimizing कि यार अगले महीने क्या कर सकता हूँ, अगले दिन.
And that's how it should be. The beginning should always be overly optimized. मैं भी ये जो decision बता रहा हूँ, ये 3 साल के बाद लिया था हमने.
हाँ.
For the first 3 years, we were just doing B2B business, just trying to get one more travel agent, knocking on the doors of travel agent, telling them that how cool our software is.
Yeah.
That's what we did for the first 3 years.
And that's what every entrepreneur should do in the beginning from day one. If you're like the caveat here is, if you're not a seasoned entrepreneur, if you don't know how these things work, I think starting में तो ये करना चाहिए भाई कल कैसे होगा sort.
Just hustle for the next day. Absolutely.
बस मतलब ये
hustle for the next day. That's all. But after a while, you should come to a place कि am I going in the right direction or not? And at that time, if you need to take a reboot, so be it. You should have that guts to take that call at that moment.
Interesting. Tell me your thoughts on customer loyalty, because आपका 85 to 93% retention है publicly. It's out there, right?
Correct.
Wild retention, wild. मतलब consumer products में नहीं होता इतना.
Correct.
जिसमें so I was reading somewhere कि one of the highest loyalties are in the food business or in the problem solving business. कि मतलब for example कि अगर मेरे पास कोई acne का face wash है जो मेरी problem solve करता है तो मेरा retention बहुत
high होगा.
Like मतलब मैं उसके अलावा कोई touch नहीं कर रहा कि मेरे भाई acne इससे solve होगा.
And once it is solved, you don't want to try others.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. तो एक तो वो, और यहाँ तो food business की टेस्ट पसंद आएगी, मुझे इसी का पोहा अच्छा लगता है, इसी की चाय अच्छी लगती है. Right. उसके अलावा उसमें भी मतलब उसके अलावा क्या लो उनमें भी 85 to 93% रिटेंशन नहीं होता.
Correct.
बहुत वाइल्ड रिटेंशन है.
Correct.
तो व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन कस्टमर लॉयल्टी? ऐसा क्या बनाए, ऐसा कैसे करे कि हर कोई कस्टमर लॉयल्टी बढ़ा सकता है?
पहले तो डोंट इंजीनियर फॉर इट. सिंपल एज दैट. वी डोंट हैव अ लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम एट EaseMyTrip. अभी कुछ शुरू किया है हमने 2-3 महीने पहले, बट 14 साल तक
स्टारबक्स का है ना जैसे लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम वगैरह ऐसा कुछ नहीं करे.
14 साल तक नहीं किया. फॉर लास्ट 14 years वी नेवर हैड एनी लॉयल्टी प्रोग्राम. इनफैक्ट वी वर टोल्ड सो बाय मेनी पीपल दैट व्हाई डोंट यू डू दिस कि कस्टमर से कन्वीनियंस फीस चार्ज कर लो और उसको एज अ पॉइंट दे दो जिससे वो दोबारा आके यूज करे. राइट? नेवर डिड दैट. नेवर ऑप्टिमाइज टू एक्चुअली मेक द लॉयल्टी. लेट मी पुट दिस वे. जस्ट फोकस on good service, good price. Good service by running our own call center. Good price by not charging convenience fees. That's it. Talking about customer loyalty, I don't think so. This thing is called as customer loyalty.
Okay.
I really don't think so. Nobody is loyal to anybody. Forget about the brands anyways.
Yeah. Ouch. Okay.
What I really think is that there is something called as habituality. I would rather use this word habituality over loyalty. There is a price of habituality and there is a price to be paid to break the habituality. Many industry mein, which is in air travel, it is even more important. As I said, there is a huge cost of making a mistake, right? If you make an error, then you can lose the entire amount.
Yeah.
There's a huge cost. Hence, people want to stick to the UX, the UI they have understood before in our industry. Otherwise, people would want to move around, right? But I hear this question a lot, ki Prashant, what if somebody comes and offers 100 rupees cheaper price?
Yeah.
Would people move? No. Answer is no. There is an amount which is required to break your habituality in my business, especially because the cost of mistakes are very high. And we know that amount. कि किस amount पे customer अपनी habituality तोड़ता है. If you see EaseMyTrip's advertisements, ज़्यादातर advertisements हमारी होती है targeting families, not corporate travelers. Families, when they travel more than 2 or 3 people. And convenience fees is a multiplier of passenger. तो कोई एक आदमी 300 रुपए के लिए अपना UX नहीं छोड़ता है, लेकिन 900 रुपए के लिए, क्योंकि 3 लोग जा रहे हैं और आ रहे तो 1800 रुपए के लिए
छोड़ दे,
वो UX छोड़ के एक नया UX ट्राई कर लेगा. बिकॉज इन दैट इंटायर ऑर्डर ही इज गोइंग टू सेव 1800 रुपीज. ही विल से कि मैं धीरे धीरे फिल कर लूंगा, मैं 1 घंटा लगा लूंगा, मैं छोड़ दूंगा. एंड देन what habituality we have built over the period of time for the customers is that our customers have realized, the ones who come back to EaseMyTrip, 93% have realized that there is no point running after discount coupons and then paying convenience fees in the last click. आप पहले जाके 10 वेबसाइट्स पे जाके कूपन दुनिया ऑफ द वर्ल्ड में जाके पहले आप डिस्काउंट कूपन ढूंढो और फिर उतने की कन्वीनियंस फीस बाद में पे कर दो. नाउ द वंस हु आर फ्लाइंग यूजुअली वैल्यू देयर टाइम. And hence they understood कि यार यही बेटर तरीका है, just come to EaseMyTrip and book their flight tickets without paying convenience fees. So my customers, it's not that our customers do not know of my competitors. They know of our competitors. So once in a while, they might go out to eat Italian. They might go out to eat Chinese because the Chinese is offering crazy discount, right? Sometimes they'll go eat, Greek food. But they know deep down their heart that EaseMyTrip is their comfort food. And they'll come back. Because we don't charge convenience fees and we offer very good services by running our own call centers. So this is what I would say, habituality has a price. Loyalty का तो कुछ नहीं है.
Yeah, that's a good point to look at because that's what we say in content. In the content business, no one's loyal.
Correct.
Like लोग बोलते हैं ना कि loyal following बनाओ, loyal ही बनाओ. कोई loyal नहीं है, कोई loyal following नहीं बन रही. Right? I think तुम अच्छा काम करते जाओ तो लोग तुम्हें देखते जाएंगे, पसंद करेंगे, तुमसे प्यार करेंगे, तुम्हें कमेंट करेंगे, तुम्हारी लाइफ में इन्वॉल्व हो जाएंगे. तुम बेकार काम करोगे, खत्म हो जाएगा. राइट. इट्स नॉट कि तुमको कस्टमर एक बार चांस चलो दे देगा एक फकअप का. राइट. पर तुमने 2 बार करा, 3 बार किया, 4 बार किया तो बाय हो गया. मतलब अब तुमने अच्छा कंटेंट नहीं बनाते तो कोई ऐसा लॉयल नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए कि भाई.
बट आई थिंक कस्टमर्स आर वेरी फॉरगिविंग आल्सो. यू हैव क्रिएटेड ट्रेमेंडस अमाउंट ऑफ ग्रेट कंटेंट, वी ऑल वॉच, राइट. अगर आप 100 कंटेंट बना चुके हो तो आपका फकअप 10 तक भी अलाउड हो सकता है. And if you have created one fly-by-night good content, and then your fuck-up is just one more, right? So it's a proportion of how much of good work versus how much of bad work.
Okay.
In my mind.
Oh, you feel that?
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, our customers are also very forgiving, yeah. At least at EaseMyTrip, fuck-ups happen in every business, right? In ours as well. And in fact, the moment when you actually have done a little bit disservice to your customers, and if you pay them back with full honesty, and with full responsibility, they are the ones who become your biggest proponents. They are your biggest proponents. They would go around and tell 100 people कि EaseMyTrip might fuck up, but they will come even strongly back to you. This becomes a very good conversation starter, right?
Yeah, that's kind of true also because people are very forgiving. If they love you, they forgive you.
Absolutely, man. I totally agree. In fact, there's this
but
thing.
Still I feel ki, sorry I'm cutting you, but like still I feel ki वो like 1 2 3 बस उसके बाद नहीं छोड़ेंगे.
I mean if you are perpetually bad then they're going to leave you.
हाँ, मतलब ऐसा कि तुमने 5 साल बहुत बढ़िया कंटेंट बनाया और तुमने फिर 6 महीने तक बहुत बेकार बनाया तो छोड़ देंगे लोग. नहीं हो रहा.
Correct. They'll find somebody else, right? We have so many other options. People, we all know, right, that how much of content is available out there, how many of services, not just content, how many competitors are available.
Exactly.
Why should somebody suffer for a long period of time for you?
Exactly my point, because it's such a big responsibility कि अगर कोई अपना 1 घंटा निकाल के मुझे सुन रहा है in this world जहाँ पे हर चीज़ 1 सेकंड में मिलती है, तो 1 घंटा कोई निकाल के सुन रहा है, राइट. तो अगर मैंने उसका टाइम वेस्ट किया तो एक्चुअली उसका सब राइट है कि हाँ छोड़ दे मुझे, राइट, बिकॉज आई शुड नॉट वेस्ट दैट टाइम.
Good that you have that clarity in mind that you have to give back value to the audience.
Oh, 100%.
To the ones who are listening.
I think everything I've gotten is because of my audience.
Absolutely.
I call this, matlab, there is not a night where I'm not grateful about the following which we have built, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट फॉलोइंग. मतलब एक मुझे ऑनलाइन फैमिली मिल गई, बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो ऐसा बोल सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
मेरी एक्चुअली फैमिली है. इट्स नॉट, मतलब मेरे लोग मेरे को बहुत सपोर्ट करते हैं. मतलब आई डोंट नो वॉट राइट थिंग्स वी हैव डन, कोई पैटर्न नहीं था टू बिल्ड दिस, बट इट्स सच अ ग्रेट थिंग दैट हम कुछ भी डालें ना, हम एक्सपेरिमेंट भी करते हैं ना, तो लोग सपोर्ट करते हैं इसको.
And that is exactly what I was saying, that you have done so much of great amount of content that people are open to hear newer thoughts from your side.
And I feel more than us, it's just like, I think भगवान हमारे साथ है, लोग हमारे साथ हैं, हमारी चल रही है टाइप. सो आई वांट टू बी सुपर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस एंड टेक दिस की बहुत प्यार दिया लोगों ने. लाइक फॉर रियल एवरीबडी इज लव्ड अस टू मच, way beyond than what we can expect. So happy, very happy. Talking about loyalty, okay, there was a tweet recently which you did about
The person who didn't join last minute.
Yes, the last
God.
minute dropout of a person, right?
Oh man.
कि लोग बोलते हैं
It became too big then I assumed. मैं तो बस ऐसे ही लिख दिया यार because I was hurt at that moment. And then
मैं कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट कर देता हूँ कि कोई बंदा था जो आपको ज्वाइन करने वाला था
at a CMO position.
एट द CMO पोजिशन, बड़ी मेजर पोजिशन पे आपने जॉब ऑफर कर दी, सब लॉक हो गया, सब क्लोज हो गया, एंड जस्ट ज्वाइनिंग के 2-3 दिन पहले
नहीं, just the day of joining.
ओह,
It was the day, the Monday, the day of joining.
द डे ऑफ ज्वाइनिंग, जिस दिन उसको ज्वाइन करना था, ऑफिस आना था, उस दिन उसने छोड़ दिया, बोले मैं नहीं ज्वाइन कर सकता.
He said that by God's grace I have gotten a CEO role and I won't be able to join. So this happened in the month of October last year, and you know I've been nurturing him for 3-4 months to basically join our organization. In fact, उसको तो हमने WhatsApp group का part भी बना लिया था, multiple WhatsApp groups का part बना लिया था, and I'm sitting at 8 a.m. in office hoping to see him, and
Super
shake his
excited.
hand, super excited, and then I get this message. And I put it on the tweet without, of course, revealing his identity. That, bhai, what is this, yaar? What's happening on this world? And it's just that I wanted to show the other side of the employers as well. That, yaar, how bad it would be for somebody कि जिसने joining day पे जिसको बोल दिया था कि you don't have a job. So it happens a lot on our side as well. And I asked my HR team, since this job was at CMO level and I was handling myself, so I felt a lot of pain and pinch because we were set back by 6 months.
Yeah.
पूरी मेहनत करें, फिर से 3 महीने लगेगा किसी को ढूंढने में, right? True. We were set back almost by 6 months for such a high senior position. And but it turned out that this happens a lot. And my ask was that somebody should solve this problem. That's all.
No, so I'll tell you recently, right, I started House of X.
Yes, of course.
And in House of X, so I was in this, since last 6 months, I was in this building zone of building a team. मतलब मैंने लगा धंधा में लेट्स से 6 महीने बाद स्टार्ट करूँगा बनाना, पहले मेरे को मेरी एवेंजर्स खड़ी करनी है.
बिल्कुल.
बिकॉज मेरे को इतने सही लोग चाहिए, एवेंजर्स असेंबल वाला वाइब है कि मेरे को सही लोग करना. मैं एक पोजीशन के लिए फ्रॉम एंटरप्रेन्योर इन रेसिडेंस, जिससे अब जनरली जर्नलिस्ट जिसको आप एक बहुत ही छोटे इंटर्न टाइप पैकेज पे लेके आते हो, वर्सेस एन एग्जीक्यूटिव रोल. मैं हर रोल के लिए 50-100-150 लोगों के, मतलब मैं रेज्यूमेस पढ़ रहा हूँ, इंटरव्यूज. मैंने एक रोल के लिए आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग के 8 टीम मेंबर्स में 8 टीम मेंबर्स के लिए मैंने एक रोल के लिए मिनिमम 50 लोगों से इंटरव्यू लिए. लाइक मतलब मैं पागल मोड जोन में चले गया था. एंड देन वन ऑफ द बेस्ट हायर्स, जिसको मतलब आई वाज लाइक सो एक्साइटेड, ये है दैट काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग. एवरीथिंग स्टार्टेड, ओके, डन. 3 month का उसका नोटिस पीरियड था. सेम थिंग हैपेंड, सॉर्टेड, ब्रिलियंट लाइफ. एंड हिज डे स्टार्टेड, ओके, स्टार्टेड. उसके बाद 3 दिन तक उसने काम भी किया है.
अच्छा. एंड देन ही लेफ्ट.
एंड देन ही सेड कि यार मुझे एक US बेस्ड कंपनी है बहुत बड़ी, उससे मुझे XYZ का ऑफर आ गया है, तो मेरे को लगता है मेरी अभी करंट स्टेट नहीं है कि मैं स्टार्टअप ज्वाइन कर सकता हूँ, बिकॉज मेरे को लगता है मेरी लाइफ ज़्यादा स्टेबल और सिक्योर वहाँ होगी.
एंड आई थिंक पीपल विल ऑल्सो एम्पथाइज विद हिम.
I empathize with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
But my point is, तुम 3 महीने पहले भी बोल सकते थे,
right? People should also see our side.
Yeah.
That how much of pain a company, and especially a startup, right?
Yeah.
Where you are putting in your sweat and blood on each of these hires.
Yep.
And then to see all of that go to waste just because somebody has gotten a better offer at the last minute, right?
Yeah.
I think there is a problem over here and I don't know how it will be solved. There is definitely a problem.
Yeah, I mean, people should stop looking for offers at least when they have committed something.
Correct. Yeah,
कि तुमने 1 साल का तुमने commit कर दिया है कि तुम minimum 1 year का lock in करके आ रहे हो या कुछ करे.
The problem is that there is no glass door for employees. There is a glass door for us.
Yeah.
If we fuck up, then it gets public, right? But
employee ranking system होना चाहिए. That's what you're saying.
कुछ तो होना चाहिए where people should know that there is always a price and there should be a price for every action you take. So वो अभी exist नहीं करता है.
Hey, that's a very spot on thing. I think for everyone it should be there.
They should be. There should always be a...
But what's your take? Like whose side are you on? Like I'm saying, it's a very, very difficult question to answer because you are somebody who has to be with people and you are an employer and
I've been an employee as well. I've worked
You've been an employee.
I've worked in a company for 4 years.
So what...
No, I think
what is your opinion?
There is no one side. It's just that everybody should know that there's a price to pay for every inaction or a wrong action you take. That's all. So वो systems build होने चाहिए. Employer side के लिए बने हुए हैं. There's a glass door. You can see our glass door. If we do something wrong, it gets published over there and lesser people join us. As simple as that. So similar thing should exist for employee side as well. That if you did somebody the last minute, if you were interviewing, so basically at the time of interview, you must interview 10 different companies.
Yeah.
But then you finally commit to one company, right? Then I'm joining you. Delay that decision as much as you want. Say, I cannot make a decision right now. All that is perfectly fine. But saying that I will join you and then not joining is actually, there is some sin involved in that particular process.
Yeah.
There is some level of sin involved in that process.
True. That's what even I think. Words should have a price.
Correct.
Right? Because if you are committing to something, don't commit. It's fine. You can be honest. You can tell, okay, I'm exploring. I'm doing
continue
things.
exploring. No problem in that.
Once you said yes, then you should stick by it.
And I think that was my original intent to actually even tweet to let people know कि यार यहाँ पे भी hurt होता है. यहाँ पे भी hurt होता है.
बहुत hurt होता है भाई. मैं almost रोने वाला था. मैं कंपनी स्टार्ट नहीं हुई है उसके पहले ये जो सबसे बढ़िया, क्योंकि ना उसके बेस पे मैं 3 लोग और लेके आ गया था. कि वो पूरे डिवीजन में भाई ये बंदे की वैसे देख लो तुम, और उसके चाम में दूसरे लोग आ गए. राइट. एंड व्हेन ही लीव्स एंड आई एम लाइक, इन माय हेड आई एम थिंकिंग, यार ये तो नहीं छोड़ देगा, वो तो नहीं छोड़ देगा.
How do you make others motivated to continue?
Oh my god भाई.
Must be tough.
टफ डिसीजन. अभी तक वो पोजीशन फिल नहीं कर पाए क्योंकि अब मेरे हेड में ना फुल टाइम एक ये तो चल रहा है कि उससे बेटर मैं कैसे लेके आऊँ. ठीक है, दैट इज वन. सेकेंड इज ये छोड़ तो नहीं देगा.
करेक्ट. एंड इट इज मोर डिसरप्टिव फॉर यंग स्टार्टअप लाइक योर्स, राइट? हमारे लिए तो यार फिर भी चलता है. I totally empathize with what must have gone through in the entire process for you.
Just crazy, right? Like it just... ठीक है. Cool. One thing, tell me about the Indian customers. How are Indian customers different?
Indian customers really value you to value them. That's how I think. That everybody, they're not very price sensitive, but they are very value sensitive. They need to be valued by you, either in terms of giving them great service, picking up their call on the second ring. Somehow this matters a lot in our industry.
क्या कि pick up second ring.
Second, third ring पे pick up होता है. दूसरे वाले हम. The reason why EaseMyTrip actually grew 75% year on year from 2015 onwards is not because we were doing some great service. It's just that our competitors were not giving what customers wanted.
They were not picking up the phone.
As simple as that, yeah. I mean, as simple as that. You know, just picking up the call on the second or third or fourth ring helps your business tremendously. I really believe that customers, you know, whatever so-called loyalties they have is sold or bought in the call centers when they are at their distressful times. This is what happens. And hence, I believe that and it might be worldwide phenomena, I don't know. We have never served the worldwide customers. We have only started to do that now. We have opened up an office in UK, Dubai and other places. But my understanding of an Indian customers is that you need to value their time, you need to value their money. And if you do that well, they'll actually spread the word very well.
Yeah. You know, you remind me of a thing Piyush Bansal told me once. Okay. So Piyush Bansal ने बोला था कि customers को ना अगर उनका पार्सल या उनका डिलीवरी लेट पहुंचे उसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. उनको अगर बताया लेट गया हो तो प्रॉब्लम है।
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
कि जब भी अगर आपकी चीज़ तीन दिन में जो पहुंचने वाली है वो 5 दिन में पहुंचेगी, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
करेक्ट।
बट उस 5 दिन के बीच में अगर 5 मिनट के लिए भी आपने कहीं पे भी ऐसा किया ना, आपको नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है और कस्टमर्स को नहीं पता, then problem है।
Absolutely.
So customer should know at every point. So I think the touring formula
correct
जिस works की हर मतलब touring के अंदर कस्टमर को पता है कि मेरा क्या हुआ, स्टेटस क्या है।
Customer wants to know that you're there for them. As simple as that. You're there for them. And even if you're delivering a bad news, still you're there for them. If you're there for them, they're there for you.
Yeah, nice.
हमने during second wave एक छोटा सा experiment किया था and people called us crazy for that experiment. Literally.
First में भी crazy बोलूँगा मैं।
First वाला भी crazy था, second वाला उतने ही level का crazy था. So we saw that everybody suffering, right? Second wave was even more devastating than the first one, and we all lost some of the other of our loved ones, right? So at that time we decided कि यार to bring people out again after the second wave was over, to bring people out and travel again, we launched a new feature in EaseMyTrip, which was basically cancel any time after your booking because of medical reasons, and we will give you 100% money back. Whether we get money from the airlines or not, leave that. Just upload a doctor's prescription and you will get your full money back. एयरलाइन जो 3,000 रुपये पर पैसेंजर काटेगा, मैं अपनी जेब से दूंगा. एयरलाइन से मैं बाद में ले लूँ, नहीं ले पाया, मेरी प्रॉब्लम. But you upload the doctor's prescription
and you get it.
And you get your money back. As simple as that. And this was not an insurance which you were selling. This was embedded in the companies. This is embedded in EaseMyTrip even till today. It's free of cost. Just use EaseMyTrip, cancel later by uploading doctor's prescription and get your money back. It is still running. It's been more than a year now. It is one of the biggest features at EaseMyTrip. Actually, it's been almost 2 years now. And after zero convenience fees, this is the second biggest reason which draws people to EaseMyTrip. Now imagine us starting that in August 2021. Everybody thought कि यार इंडिया में 100 रुपए में मेडिकल रिपोर्ट मिल जाती है और कस्टमर को बचेगा 3,000 रुपए पर पैसेंजर. 100 रुपए में मेडिकल रिपोर्ट मिल जाती है तो मैं लूट लिया जाएगा. पूरी इंडस्ट्री ने बोल रहा था कि भैया तुम तो गए, यूर ओवर. हमने कहा यार हम 1 महीने तक रन करके देखते हैं, 1 महीने तक जो खर्चा आएगा वो झेल लेंगे. If there is so many negative, if there is so many false negatives, right, where people are uploading fake reports, then we'll stop it. This was the thought process. But guess what? Less than 0.5% people have uploaded incorrect reports according to us in the system. And we are honoring what we have claimed since last 2 years, and we have found this to be a sustainable offering. हमें उतनी वैल्यू वापस मिल जाती है because people are spreading this word that EaseMyTrip does not, EaseMyTrip will give you full refund in cases of medical emergencies. We have जो हमें खर्चा देना पड़ा ना लोगों को, उससे ज़्यादा कि हमें मार्केटिंग हो रही है. So this has become a sustainable business model.
Nice.
So we realize that if you actually put trust in people, they will trust you back.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We trusted people that they'll do the right thing. And
that's such a smart thing to do, by the way. Yeah. That's just, that's a great lesson about customers and people, that you should not assume things.
You should not assume the evil out of people.
हाँ.
You should not assume the evil out of people.
मतलब ये assume, मतलब बस बिकॉज तुमने 4 जगह सुना है या पहले कहीं पे हुआ है, इसके बेस पे assume नहीं कर सकते कि यार लोग खराब ही हैं. लोग तो फेक ही करेंगे, लूटेंगे ही. एंड आई फील एक्चुअली अगर कस्टमर्स को या लोगों को आप ट्रस्ट फॉरवर्ड करो ना, लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबल होते हैं तो आपको दे वांट टू गिव यू बैक.
If you trust people, they'll trust you back. As simple as that. एक कदम आप बढ़ो, एक कदम वो
बढ़ाते हैं. आप पहले बनो, ट्रस्ट करें, बिकॉज कोई बैठा नहीं है यार, मतलब कोई बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो बैठे क्या चलो लूटते हैं. लाइक बहुत रेयरली होते हैं.
एब्सोल्युटली.
बाकी मेजॉरिटी ऑफ लोग बहुत अच्छे हैं.
यार
they don't want to do bad things.
I have always been extremely trusting to the people. मैं जब IIT मद्रास से दिल्ली ट्रैवल करता था तब तो स्लीपर ट्रेन्स में ट्रैवल करते थे, पैसे थे नहीं उस टाइम. तो मैं तो अपना वॉलेट अपने बगल वाले को बोल के चला जाता था कि यार मैं स्टेशन पे घूम के आ रहा हूँ, मेरा वॉलेट का ध्यान रखना. लाइक लिटरली घर वाले बोलते थे कि कैसा आदमी है तू, अपना वॉलेट लोगों को बता के चलाया था कि ये मेरा वॉलेट पड़ा है और मैं थोड़ा स्टेशन पे टहल के आ रहा हूँ, प्लीज लुक आफ्टर माई सीट एंड लुक आफ्टर माई वॉलेट. कभी नहीं हुआ. आई हैव नेवर लॉस्ट माई वॉलेट. आई हैव नेवर लॉस्ट माई वॉलेट. आपने लोगों को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी है टू लुक आफ्टर देम. वो आपके साथ कैसा धोखा कर देगा? वो कैसे धोखा कर देगा? बल्कि ये तो मेरा सेफ गार्ड था कि मेरी सीट भी बचेगी, मेरा वॉलेट भी बचेगा. दोनों बचेगी.
Very risky, but okay. Okay, so you have done business in Dubai, and you said कि दुबई में काफ़ी expansion हो रहा है, अच्छा बढ़ रहा है, काफ़ी सही चल रहा है, right? तो क्या different है दुबई के customers से और Indian customers में? Is there something that you've noticed?
Yeah, it's only about 9 months since we are running the Dubai business. First month we did business of about 84 lakhs, then 1.2 crore, then 5 crore, then 7, then 10, then 12. Last month we did business of over 20 crores.
Okay.
So it's growing rapidly just because we are not charging convenience fees over there as well. And all the incumbent players over there are charging crazy amount of convenience fees. Inconvenience fees, you can say that. So I have still to learn of how much of a difference between both the countries, consumers are. But the business fundamentals remains the same. That हमने वहाँ पे भी call center बनाया. अगर आपको अरबिक में बात करनी है, we do not want to let go of the call center experience and outsource it. That is the fundamental which we have understood.
पर लोगों में क्या difference है? Do you think, have you like seen any pattern? जैसे
the thing is the average ticket value is much higher. That's one thing. Of course, being the Middle East, high GDP country, the average ticket value is almost 5 to 6 times higher.
ऐसे ही लगता है मिडल ईस्ट में सब प्राइवेट कॉन्सर्ज लेके घूम रहे होंगे, अपनी G63 में से उतरेंगे. क्या प्राइवेट जेट ही चाहिए होगा उन्हें? EaseMyTrip क्यों चाहिए?
नहीं, वो प्राइवेट जेट भी हम प्रोवाइड करते हैं. EaseMyTrip वो भी देते हैं.
लाइक हर टाइम मैं दुबई जाता हूँ, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि यहाँ तो दुनिया का सारा पैसा यहीं पे है. यहाँ तो लोग घर भर में रहते नहीं, गाड़ियों में ही रहते हैं. क्या सीन है? It's just wild.
It is.
The flashiness there is crazy.
I would actually even say the consumerism ploy is crazy over there. वहाँ पे हर चीज बहुत ज़्यादा materialistic है.
बहुत.
I value India actually a lot more. We are a very relationship-driven country, and if anybody who's lived abroad would tell you the same thing. That of course, for everything in this world, there's a pro and a con. Leaving the jingoism aside, the nationalism, jingoism aside, India has a lot of merits to offer as a country. 100%. Nationalism एक और side करते हैं, वैसे ही बहुत merits हैं इंडिया के अंदर. I recently lost my chacha. This happened about 4-5 months ago, and he died out of a sudden heart attack, and he was not that aged for us to be lost. It was a very, very shocking news to us, right? But in his entire death made me realize that how great the India is. If people die outside India, US, we have seen, natural calamities and other things happen in the other countries. 2 लोग नहीं आते हैं घर में आपका. You're mourning by yourself, and this is when the suicidal thoughts come in.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to console you.
Oh yes.
My chacha passed away. The entire house was filled by 300-400 people for next 13 days. And during that process, you're just busy catering to people, and hence you kind of your loss is subdued. It becomes easier to come out of it, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to cater to so many people who are at your home. We have so many rituals when somebody, when you lose someone, there are hundreds of rituals, and now I'm seeing the value of rituals. Earlier, I used to question those rituals. Now I'm seeing the value that these rituals actually help you overcome the loss.
Yeah.
Because you're part of that ritual. You have to do those rituals.
Yep. Actually, I've also seen one thing, that whenever a death happens in any house, okay, इंडिया में होता है कि उस आपके मोहल्ले के गली के कोई अंकल होंगे, कोई आंटी होगी जो आपके घर में आके सब मैनेज कर देते हैं.
करेक्ट. अपना खाना बना के लाएगी
सब, मतलब
अपने घर से.
आपको पता भी नहीं चलता है,
करेगा.
आपने उनको कभी देखा भी नहीं होता है.
करेक्ट.
पर क्योंकि आपके घर में डेथ हुई है, दे नो कि यू आर गोइंग थ्रू अ लॉस, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली वहाँ 100, 200, 300 लोग सब मैनेज हो जाता है.
बिल्कुल हो जाता है,
अपने आप मैनेज हो जाता है, आपको पता भी नहीं चलता ये सब हुआ कैसे.
करेक्ट.
राइट. एंड दैट इज वेयर द कम्युनिटी लिविंग कम्स इन द पिक्चर. कि इंडिया बहुत रिलेशनशिप ड्रिवन, कम्युनिटी ड्रिवन कंट्री है, जहाँ पे
empathy at human level, a lot of empathy at the human level, which works tremendously in our favor.
No, इंडिया इस चीज़ में तो बहुत अच्छा है. इज दैट्स ट्रू कि हर चीज़ में हमारे पास हर चीज़ में हमारी मतलब हर प्रॉब्लम में हमारी सिचुएशन ईजी हो जाती है क्योंकि हमारे आसपास रिलेशनशिप्स हैं बहुत सारी और लोग वैल्यू करते हैं, बहुत एम्पैथेटिक होते हैं, लोग ट्राई करते हैं कि यार आपकी हेल्प करें, किसी तरह से आप अकेले उसके थ्रू नहीं जाओ, कुछ ना कुछ तो करो, वेदर इट्स सेलिब्रेशन और मोर्निंग, दोनों में से होता है, लोग आते हैं.
Totally agree.
100% right. That's okay. Talking about relationships, you built business with your brothers. Man, 70% businesses in India fail because of not being able to manage relationships. Right. और भाइयों का तो बहुत ही difficult होता है.
So the sibling rivalry.
Sibling rivalry. There are a lot of rivalry, right? Like couples में rivalry होती है, siblings में rivalry होती है, बहुत father son, mother daughter, father daughter, बहुत सारे अलग अलग, सब में बहुत ज़्यादा एक अलग टाइप की rivalry होती है, right? But siblings, because you're almost same generation, almost you kind of value the same things and don't value the same things.
Correct.
तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है मैनेज करना. हाउ डिड
But
यू मैनेज
उसके pros भी बहुत सारे हैं.
तो हाउ डिड यू मैनेज दैट?
So firstly, I'll tell you about what works in favor while working with the brothers or your family. The inherent amount of trust is exceptionally higher because you grew up together. We three are almost of the same age. Nishant is 1.5 years, 2 years younger to me, and Rikant is 2 years younger to Nishant. So since you grew up together, you had the similar amount of upbringing. You exactly know who is great at what in the depth of the knowledge.
Yeah.
जैसे for example, Nishant can build relationship like nobody else. निशान से जो भी मिलता है उसका भाई बन जाता है. निशांत का. This is his superpower.
The guy we met at the Ritesh's wedding. Like
No, that was Rikant. That was Rikant.
Okay.
That was younger. Nishant has this superpower that he can influence people and get anything he wants. वो कहेगा यार 2 किडनी दे दो मुझे, लोग पता नहीं उसे किडनी दे देंगे. This is his superpower and I have no idea how he has gotten it. Rikant is amazing in technology and managing people. So Rikant looks after our operation. And I am decent in telling the story and doing a bit of marketing. तो तीनों की अपनी अलग अलग superpowers हैं. And which is why we have aligned ourselves. Any business can be broken into 3 parts. Supply, operations and demand. Supply क्या खरीदा, operations क्या किया, demand क्या बेचा. As simple as that. हर बिजनेस में कुछ खरीदा जाता है, कुछ किया जाता है और कुछ बेचा जाता है. हमने तीनों ने उसी हिसाब से अपने ऑनलाइन कर रखा है. निशान लुक्स आफ्टर सप्लाई, रिकान लुक्स आफ्टर ऑपरेशंस, आई लुक आफ्टर डिमांड. तो दिस इज वन बिग पॉजिटिव दैट यू नो ईच अदर सो वेल दैट यू कैन अलाइन योर विजन टू द कंपनी इन दैट लेवल. नाउ हाउ डू यू अवॉइड द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स?
पावर की लड़ाई नहीं होती है.
नहीं, हमारे घर में नहीं होती है. उसका एक रीजन है कि हमने एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग बना रखी है विच इज that treat the company as your baby. And we are together parenting the company. Taken up as a baby. Now, if you ever have a child, you will realize this. And if you know, whether your wife says one thing and you say another thing, if there is a logical reason of how that child needs to be brought up, you will instantly agree to it and not put your ego कि मैंने तो ये कहा था. Because it is for the benefit of the baby. आप इमीडिएटली अपनी वाइफ की बात पे अग्री कर जाओगे एज सुन एज यू हियर द राइट लॉजिक. एंड इफ यू ट्रीट अ कंपनी लाइक अ बेबी देन यू वुड इट्स सो इजी टू लीव योर ईगोज असाइड.
बट कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होता कि यार ओके फर्स्ट इज इट इक्वली ओन्ड बाय ऑल 3 of you?
Well, I joined later, so I own half of them. I was in the US for about 4 years.
Okay.
So they started the company and
then कभी ऐसा नहीं होता कि यार मेरे पास कम है, मैं ज़्यादा काम करता हूँ. You know, this is I'm just asking you these questions because this is what I've seen in movies, in my friends' families and stuff like that, right?
One thing which really works for us is that we are still a joint family. We still operate out of one account. तो हमारे में we are still very traditional in that sense. I have 2 kids, Nishant has 2 kids, Rikant has 2 kids. And we all think that we are parent of 6 kids rather than we all are parent of 2 kids. And because of which, you know, there is a very good amount of harmony in the house and there is no tera mera. This is also my decision that I want to have less compared to them because I joined them 2 years later.
Okay.
This is my decision. The family is enforcing that we all become equal. This decision has come out of me, from my side. And I want to ensure that they get this respect because मैं तो US में job कर रहा था. And I came and I got joined them. The other thing which I think many people will fall into problematic area, and we have solved it mathematically. There's a mathematical way by which we have solved one issue, which is that since we all have our own department, right? But as a human, you want to have a say in somebody's department.
Yeah.
You know, as a human, you always want to have a say. So Nishant would want to have a say in my department. Rikant would want to have say in my department. I would want to have a say in their department, right?
Yeah.
This is human, very human nature, which is where you're talking about the faults, right?
Yeah.
Even though you have departments, but you have your own say. Now you can solve that by having a method. हमारा तो ये तरीका है कि every year, whatever profit we have generated, the next year, 10% of that amount is the threshold. Now, I can take, जैसे last year हमारा profit around 109 करोड़ का था, तो इस साल 10-12 करोड़ तक का decision मैं बड़े आराम से ले सकता हूँ. निशांत रिकांत need not want to think about it.
सबको एक 10% विंडो दे दी है.
अब उससे बड़ा अगर डिसीजन होगा, then it's a veto. Then it's a veto. So we would, veto means कि अगर एक ने भी मना कर दिया तो नहीं करना वो चीज.
Okay.
So what we have decided upon is that we will leave a lot of opportunities aside to keep this relationship sane. We would say no to a lot of things which might be obviously good for the business. But the bigger important fact for us is that our relationship should remain sane. If अगर एक भाई comfortable नहीं है तो नहीं करेंगे यार, कौन सी बड़ी बात है, 100 opportunities आती हैं. This is how we have created a very good harmony since last 14 years.
No, that's amazing. But you know, here's one more question on that. I'm just trying to dig deep on this to understand, because I really feel what you've done is commendable. क्योंकि families बहुत सारी, at least in this generation, नहीं बना पाती साथ में business, right? और बहुत सारे reasons है. And every third person you talk to in India, उनके घर में कुछ ना कुछ होता है कि यार मेरे काका ने ऐसा कर दिया, मेरे ताऊ जी ने वो कर दिया, मेरे चाचा ने वो कर दिया.
But we are not that generation.
No. So that's what I'm telling. Like you just hear them, right? That's why I'm very intrigued to know.
Correct.
Okay, what's next? क्योंकि उसकी वजह से ना बहुत सारे लोग डरते भी साथ में काम करना. एक मैंने एक रील देखी थी किसी की, आई थिंक सतीश के उस पे थी, एंड दैट आई लाइक्ड इट. Okay, even though I was guilty about it, I liked it, and I think I love my brother and my father for me to do business with them. But after watching that reel, it's very difficult for me to consider anyone else apart from my brother and my father. Like my cousins or my, you know, anyone else, like far off cousin, but very difficult. Because उसने उस रील में बोलता है वो कि तुम परिवार वालों के साथ काम करोगे, किसी परिवार वालों को हायर करोगे अभी अपनी कंपनी में. मैं बोला नहीं, कभी नहीं. क्यों? बोल जिसको मैं फायर नहीं कर सकता उसको हायर ही नहीं करूँगा.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. I would agree with that thought process.
That made...
But we are not fireable. We are co-founders. Nobody's working for anybody.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Right. That was, but that was very spot on.
That is very spot on, and you should not hire someone
whom
you cannot fire.
Yeah.
I totally agree on that, because you're losing away that power.
Yes.
But this is a separate situation. I hope you can understand.
No, I understand the situation. I'm just telling you, ऐसे ना, when you read about certain things, then you understand कि okay, थोड़ा सा family dynamics है. क्योंकि what I've noticed in my age, okay, when we are so in your 20s, you feel life's gonna be golden. Like,
oh, you do?
Right. I do. I definitely feel that. हमें लगता है, हमें बेस्ट लगता है कि यार कोई हमारे साथ क्या ही गलत करेगा. मेरे भाई भी सही रहेंगे, मेरी बहनें भी सही रहेगी, मेरे अंकल भी सही रहेंगे, मेरे आंटी भी सही रहेगी. लाइक एवरीथिंग यू डोंट एंटिसिपेट दैट तुम्हारी फैमिली में कभी डिस्प्यूट होने वाले हैं. और तुम्हें लगता है कि यार सब लोग साथ में तो रहने वाले हैं, साथ में मिल के बनाते हैं सब चीज़ें, राइट. एंड 30s में वो चेंज होता है, 40s में और चेंज हो जाता है, 50s में तो लड़ाई हो जाती है बिकॉज ज़्यादा स्टेक होल्डर्स आ जाते हैं.
हाँ, मतलब see, basically whatever we have gone through so far, I'll tell you that EaseMyTrip would have also not existed if it were not three of us.
If it was not family.
It was not three of us. क्योंकि इतने tough industry में थे, सारे के सारे loss making है. You know, you have to see the positives as well, right? Individually, we would not have this level of patience and power and, perseverance to follow through for 12 years of having David versus Goliath battle. True. By ourselves.
पर ऐसे कभी भाइयों में ऐसी लड़ाई नहीं होती कि आपको मे बी लेट्स से कार चाहिए एंड दूसरे भाई ने बोला यार इतनी महंगी कार तू क्या करेगा, या किसी को कुछ
नीड्स ही बहुत कम थी. अब तक तो IPO से पहले तो we were anyways just hand to mouth people.
Okay.
उससे पहले, और अब ठीक ठाक हो गया तो अब कार की वरी नहीं होती है.
But no, ऐसे तीनों का कुछ भी नहीं होता. Where
we have our share
because
of,
this is what you hear, right? कि किसी एक इंसान को ज़्यादा स्पेंड करना था वर्सेस दूसरे को किसी के, एंड देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन इट. समबडी बिलीव्स कि यार मैं लाइफ अच्छी जीऊंगा, मैंने कमाया, इतनी मेहनत करी, तो मुझे स्पेंड करना है. वर्सेस समबडी हु बिलीव्स है कि क्यों करना है, पागल हो गया. Right? बहुत अलग अलग वे ऑफ थिंकिंग और लिविंग.
There are different.
And in fact, spending patterns are different. Somebody believes in spending in materialistic things. Somebody believes in experience, spending on experiences. Somebody believes in spending on community.
Correct.
Right? So,
नहीं, it only adds up यार. It only adds up and it only creates value. क्योंकि घर में अगर एक लॉम्बर्गिनी आती है तो सबके पास आती है.
Fair. That's a good way of thinking. I'm just glad that shared by all wala situation hai. And the best thing which you said was the highlight to me is like, we are not parents of 2 kids, we're parents of 6 kids.
Correct. That's how we see यार. हमारे घर में पता नहीं चलेगा कौन सा किसका बच्चा है. In fact, I make everybody call me Abbu.
Okay.
Father is a father, but Abbu is also a father.
Yeah.
So instead of being called as Tauji, they call me Abbu.
Oh, that's cute. Recently there was a horrible incident in Mumbai about the safety of tourism, like tourists. Do you remember that there was this girl from South Korea who was trying to get, who was forced by
2 people to sit on the car,
sit on the bike and be like, chal tu hamare saath, and they were forcing her to.
Correct. I saw that. That was live. She was live actually.
She was
live that time.
She was like, that was horrible.
Correct.
Do you feel that like travel agencies like yours and everything, we should do something, like you guys should do something, or is it your responsibility to make India a safer place, or can you do something about it?
On the safety part, there is very little which we can do. I'll be very honest. We are the mediators between the airlines and the hotels, right? The government surely is playing their role. I believe that the government is doing their level best in creating new infrastructure and creating more education around this particular topic, and India as a country which has so many things to offer for you to see, I believe that India should become a hotbed for inbound tourism, which is only a matter of time.
Oh, for sure. I think things are getting better, that's for sure. और हम लोग काफ़ी अट्रैक्ट भी कर रहे हैं, but not at large.
Correct.
In fact, मैं भी एक पढ़ रहा था फैक्ट कि I think ना इंडिया की ब्रांडिंग थोड़ी सी गलत हुई है. ओके, एंड आई वाज लाइक, तो एंड आई वाज क्यूरियस कि ऐसा क्यों है, इंटरनेशनली कैसा है. तो इफ़ यू लुक एट द स्टैट्स, चोरियाँ और जो मगिंग है और जो ठग लेते वाला सीन है, राइट, यूरोप में ज़्यादा, हाँ, पर कैपिटा यूरोप में बहुत ज़्यादा होती है वर्सेस इंडिया.
करेक्ट.
यूरोप में किसी का भी पासपोर्ट बैग चोरी होना इज अ नॉर्मल थिंग एंड नो वन इज डूइंग एनीथिंग अबाउट इट.
You see the petty crimes or burglaries which are happening as a percentage of million population. India is actually quite safe. India is quite safe
comparatively to other countries, other tourist-based countries.
Correct.
It's just
the narrative is not so right.
Exactly. Correct. And obviously we have our flaws. हमें बहुत चीज़ें सीखनी है, हम बहुत आगे बढ़ने वाले हैं. But अभी recently मेरे 3 friends हैं, 3 content creators, वो बाहर गए. एक फंचो करके क्रिएटर्स हैं, उनका बैग नहीं आया. ठीक है. श्रुति सिन्हा करके क्रिएटर है, उसका पासपोर्ट चोरी हो गया. आवेश दरबार करके क्रिएटर है, उसका पासपोर्ट चोरी हो गया. लाइक दीज आर फ्रेंड्स. ये फ्रेंड्स के साथ हो रहा है जिनका स्टोरीज मैं जानता हूँ, जिनसे अभी मेरी बात हुई, उन्होंने बताया ये. दैट्स ऑल यूर इन यूरोप. एक का बार्सिलोना में, एक का फ्रांस में, और तीसरा आई डोंट नो किसके किधर हुआ. बट
okay, so people watch out when you go to Europe.
Europe, yeah. Perfect. Thanks a lot for doing this. I want definitely do a second episode because we didn't touch
there's so much to
wealth
cover.
And health and relationships and बहुत सारी चीजें हमने कवर ही नहीं करी. हमने स्टोरी पे ही बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोग अटक गए. But thanks a lot. I want to go have a deeper conversation on SOPs and customer experience. So hopefully
No, it'd be my pleasure.
आप next time कब आ रहे हो तो हम लोग एक extended podcast करेंगे because you are short on time, so that's why we couldn't do it.
No, yeah, thanks for having me over here. It was lovely, and I almost forgot that we were doing a podcast throughout this. It was just such a lovely, free-flowing conversation.
No, thanks a lot for coming here. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Pleasure is all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This is the co-founder of EaseMyTrip, and it's an inspiration because he didn't raise any money. He was bootstrapped. खुद ही पैसा लगाया, खुद ही उसको कमाया, कमाते 12-13 साल 14 साल कंपनी चलाई और फिर IPO लेके चले गए और IPO सक्सेसफुल है, which is very rare in today's world as of now. So it's truly an inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us. You give hope to a lot of people that just, getting money is not everything. And if you're not getting money, you can still build a business. If you don't have a unique idea, you can still build a business. Mm-hmm. If you are in a completely noisy world, you can still build a profitable business. And if you're just building out with your family, you can still build a business. So
you summarized it perfectly. Thank you so much.
Business बनाने का ना कोई एक तरीका नहीं होता. तुम फंडिंग के बिना भी बिजनेस बना सकते हो और फंडिंग के साथ भी बिजनेस बना सकते हो. सिमिलरली ग्रोथ का भी कोई एक तरीका नहीं होता. तुम बिजनेस बना के भी ग्रो हो सकते हो, तुम एम्प्लॉय बन के भी ग्रो हो सकते हो, तुम इंडिविजुअल एक क्रिएटर बन के भी ग्रो कर सकते हो अपने आप को. तो इसीलिए हम इस पॉडकास्ट पे अलग अलग टाइप के अलग अलग फील्ड से क्रिएटर्स, एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, गेस्ट, सारे वो लोग लेके आते हैं जो अपनी फील्ड में सक्सेसफुल हुए हैं और जिनसे तुम लोगों को ग्रो होने की एग्जैक्ट टिप, ट्रिक्स और स्ट्रैटेजीज पता चलती जाए. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस एपिसोड टिल द एंड. आई होप दैट यू विल लाइक, सब्सक्राइब, शेयर, कॉमेंट एंड शेयर दिस एपिसोड विद एटलीस्ट वन पर्सन जिसको ये ग्रो करने में हेल्प करेगा. क्योंकि इंडिया ना वर्ल्ड की फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग कंट्री है, पर इंडिया ना इतनी तेज़ी से तभी ग्रो करता रहेगा जब हर एक इंडियन ग्रो करेगा. और हर इंडियन की ग्रोथ स्टार्ट होती है यहाँ से, राइट माइंडसेट से. सो ये पॉडकास्ट हर किसी के साथ शेयर करो जिसको तुम ग्रो होना देखना चाहते हो और इसके सारे लेसन्स तुम खुद भी अपनी लाइफ में अप्लाई करो. अंटिल द नेक्स्ट एपिसोड, कीप फिगरिंग आउट.